This is not a confidential settlement. In fact, I would go on the opposite side. I would say this is the type of thing that, people should take a look at.
I'm agreeing with you. That's why I want to make sure that they understand that.
So maybe we can make copies readily available for people to come in, so they don't have to go through the FOIL process?
Sure.
And then we would put it on the agenda, 2 weeks from tonight?
2 weeks.
Should we not do that? I have oral surgery that day. Yeah, that's where you're going to do it.
Not to do it?
I'll be here.
Talking to you to be here but not able to talk.
Never happens, sir. Never happens. Somehow there'll be a way.
Okay, is everybody in agreement that we proceed that way?
Yeah.
I don't agree, but as long as it's made public, I'd rather have the opportunity for us to talk about it again.
Yeah, we could talk about it at the business meeting.
We could talk about it at our work session.
Business meeting,
Yeah.
sorry.
Before they put it on the agenda for 2 weeks, for what purpose?
What
To
purpose?
discuss it
To
to the
discuss
public.
it?
Oh,
The
okay.
public's gonna put their input into it.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I don't wanna slow everything down, because everything's...
So let me make sure that it's all clear here. You're gonna have a public hearing on
Public information.
a public informational meeting.
Yeah,
When?
on
Well, we're gonna...
7 o'clock on 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay.
Ah,
No, 7:30.
7:30. Why don't we just put it as part of the regular meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, partly like
Can we
we did
just
with
put- can we
like
just
we
put-
did with the budget, when we had the public hearing on the budget.
But,
That is notice requirement.
yeah, we're just trying to,
We're not putting notice.
we're not passing a law or anything here.
No.
So rather than have a public hearing and go through all the notice requirements,
Yeah.
Trustee Matthews and I understand, we'd like to have the public have the right to comment, so it'll just be on the regular agenda, right, as a item of business.
Yeah. Well,
I am
but we want the
all
public
honesty.
we want the public to comment on it.
you can, of course, do what you like, but I will be in bad shape that night. And since I'm the one that raised the issue, I would really love if you could entertain it the following week, or
Well, there'd have to be 4 weeks.
But up to be 4 weeks.
well, we could do it on a work session.
No,
We advertise.
Oh, we want the
It should be done at a regular.
open meeting where the public has a chance to comment. The only problem is, like, when we do, if we don't do it like a public hearing, and we just discuss it, and then the public can't discuss it until after the fact. But when we do a public hearing,
Well, that's what we're gonna do.
That's what we're doing, the public
Well, then you should
information
advertise
meeting.
then we should advertise.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll advertise it as a public hearing.
All right.
So that-
If we're
then-
doing
then the public can have the input before we take any action.
But David, I know I'm trying to be pushy here, but if you're
Trying?
doing that...
Not you, not-
I am, it's important.
Yes. You're right.
If we have to advertise it anyway, can we not advertise the meeting to be held on the 17th rather than on the 10th?
That's up to the board.
No, let's do it, in deference, if Marcia's gonna have health issues that night, then do it 4 weeks. It should be at a regular public
Yeah, I
meeting.
think it should be. So maybe let's do it on the 24th.
I appreciate your consideration.
The only thing I do
If I
want to...
could change it, I would, trust me.
But I do want to emphasize and make clear is that there is and I don't want to be pushy, but I am a lawyer, so there's a legal issue here,
Right?
Yeah.
okay? I mean, there's a need and a desire to get information out there and have public discourse, and that's commendable. But at the end of the day, there's a legal issue here that is not going to be decided by a show of hands.
Understood. I understand that.
Okay.
Okay. That being decided, let's go into citizen comments.
Well, if you got... I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry, that's right.
If you want to do that, though, I suggest a motion and a second to schedule the
Okay.
date, the time.
All right. Can I
Make a
get
motion that we schedule a public hearing for May 24th. That was gonna be.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the motion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, that's done. Public comment.
And, fine. I think that your attorney is correct. It doesn't change the legal issue. Marcia, I would like to correct one thing that you repeated, and that is the village is not always considered their property. We have innumerable letters from the village asking for permission to alter that property and change it from time to time as a band shell was there and the fountain was put in and then the monument was put in. And the request was always made to the corporation of the church, which is a legally registered corporation in the state of New York. We have the full record of the correspondence with the village. There was no question that the church never rescinded its ownership of that property, nor could it even be obtained by adverse possession, because you've maintained it, because that was part of the original agreement. We have no desire to change. David was absolutely right. This is a change in form, not in what's going, and not in content. Okay, one of the reasons why that was done was because of the mistake to the tax maps, where it was, the entire section was listed as village property, and my predecessor for 28 years before me tried to get that corrected. So that's one of the reasons for pursuing this. There'll be no question. There is, again, a reminder to you, which I'm sure you've heard me say several times, there's no real transfer of property recorded anywhere. So that property has never been sold. There's never been any action that would change the possession, so it would revert, there were no metes or bounds on the property. So it would revert back to the original land title that was given by the King of England through, he was the incorporator, okay? The king was the incorporator of all corporations, and corporation then had to answer to the king. So the pact that was made with these gentlemen way back in the late 1600s was to be answerable to the king. And the grant came from that patent offered at that time to the first Presbyterian minister in this town and in this village, and that's how it came into our possession. It's been that way ever since. So just points of information for you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Quick, I think it's important to go on record. Phil Hodges,
State your name.
yes, Phil Hodges, First Presbyterian Church. I just want to go on record. One of the things that is promoted or initiated this request for the acknowledgement of the property and the lease agreement, our insurance carrier is mandating that we have a lease agreement for that property. Yes. That's it. Simple as that.
Thank you.
John McConnell. My concern is that,
Excuse me, sir, your address?
sorry?
Where do you live? Your address?
45 Murray Avenue.
Thank you.
You know, I've heard everything that's said here, and I think the concerns I've heard is that, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it, then why is such a push to get it done legally and put legally in the Presbyterian Church's name? Does that mean that they could then in turn sell this property? I think a lot of people have concerns that that could happen, and that the church would then have total control, and that they would be free to sell this property to whoever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And, you know, if this lease binds that for 30 years, that can't happen. I think that would alleviate a lot of people's fears, you know? I mean, me personally, you know, because I'm Irish, I'm like, well, some English king decided to give up. It's caused a lot of problems in my country.
Don't worry, we don't recognize you.
For an English king, it will cause more problems in Goshen than he did in Ireland. I think that that's the concern that I had heard, is that if this gets put in the name, that it could possibly be sold as a package. If the church is in financial problems, or if anybody was in financial problems, once they get control, it could be sold. And what I heard is that people are concerned that the property could be sold. So that's why it was important that people know exactly what's going on. And if a lease can bind that, then for 30 years that can't be sold for 30 years, or
99.
or whatever. So that's just why I think would be my opinion.
David, is that, if we have a lease, can it be sold?
Well, I don't know what's different now.
And that would make a difference if they could or they couldn't, whether we have the lease or not.
Because we wouldn't be signing it and saying that we give you a quick signing date, that's why.
No, those are two different issues.
Why? Well, okay.
All right, well, okay, all right. I'm sorry, I just got sidetracked. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
My name is Scott Roper. I live at 26 Hill Street in the village, and I'm also a member of the church. The one point I simply want to make is that the 30-year lease that we propose is for the exclusive use of the village during the 30-year term, so that the church would have no rights to use the land in any form, that the village would have sole right to determine the use of the land. And our request at the last meeting was also to put in language in the lease